So, Mike, we're now in the cellars. This is sort of unusual for California. We're sitting in front of lots of fairly large format ovals. I'd love for you to touch on this afterwards, but let's talk about what you do with the fruit that you get from the Carneros estate and how you try to preserve what it gives you.
Well, so one thing I didn't show you outside. We actually have made a big investment in technology. They're called Volltaucher, which is German for full punch downs, full submersion tanks. And so we have these tanks outside they're basically an automatic punch down tank. There's a large wagon wheel up there, and we'll submerge the cap very gently. It's even more gently than someone going through and punching down a tank. That's a start. That's the way we start. We always try to handle the fruit very gently when it comes in. So we ferment our Chardonnay fairly cool. It starts cool in a tank and then it's finished in barrel. And we will try to not rush things through and again not try to put too much of our own stamp on that. Let the wine speak. So you've got the punch down tanks outside for reds, and actually these ovals are a big part of kind of what makes Schug different, but also allows us to really preserve the fruit and let the fruit shine through. So red wines fermented about a week. We press before dryness, again trying to enhance the fruity character of the wine. We'll then sell it for about 24 hours and then bring them into the ovals here. And then in the ovals, they'll finish their fermentation, and also this is where we go through malolactic fermentation, so that second fermentation. And in here, we will, once they finish ML, we'll then go to barrel and then age it. We don't touch the Pinot then, unless we have to, but we don't touch it until summer when it's time for bottling. What I get out of these ovals is it's somewhere in between. So when you're in a stainless steel tank, the wines don't really age, right? They're very inert and they're very sterile. And so tasting wine that's been aged for any length of time in a tank, to me, I mean, for lack of a better word, it's tanky. You can taste it. It's very young and very fresh, but you can tell it hasn't matured. So it's very stunted in its growth. When you're in a barrel, which is what we're used to, is you see a very advanced aging. You've got a lot of it's an oxidative environment. You're opening up for topping, and it's changing the wine a lot. This is a nice medium. It's a happy ground. So you still have some of that oxidative environment with the topping and the losses and as the wines warm and expand and contract, and you do get a little bit more of a maturity, though. It's not like a tank. You don't get that tankiness, and so what you get in this, I find, is that the fruitiness is increased and enhanced and protected, whereas in a barrel you can begin to obscure some of that natural fruitiness. And so we use these both for reds and whites.
Mm-hmm.
We have some smaller ones around the corner that are for whites. This in here is kind of our this is the red bunker, and it's all, these are all reds, and we have some larger ones over there as well. These run, most of these are about 800 gallons in here. We have some 1,100 gallons and some smaller ones, some 150 gallon ones as well. So that range of ovals, again, it's a tool that allows us to protect the fruit, and that's kind of one of our missions.
And is this something that has always been part of the Schug winemaking?
Yep. When you talk to Walter a little bit later, I'm sure you can get the history behind this. But and Walter will talk a little bit more about his life. But he was raised, in Germany on a Pinot Noir estate, and so that's part of tradition. If you're in France, Italy, Germany, doesn't matter. These large casks are a big part of winemaking there. And so even in his early days at Phelps, he was making use of these, and so when he started the winery, one of the first things he does is going to have some of these ovals for himself. And this is actually a gift, and I am not going to butcher the translation. I'll read it to you, but I don't know if it's in the shot, but it's O Wein von der Neckar von der Mosel vom Rhein, wie die Traube ihn gibt, Rhein soll sein.
Pretty good.
Hopefully Walter did. But anyway, he'll give you the full translation, because, like I said, I've muffed it a few times. But and this was actually a gift from the the Cooper who makes these. He actually also makes all the stainless steel tanks out there as well. But and again, Walter will tell you a little bit more about those stories when you get to them.
Okay, we spoke outside a little bit about what Carneros gives you as fruit. What do you, as the winemaker, want to give to the drinker? What should they expect when they're opening a bottle of Schug Chardonnay or Schug Pinot Noir?
It's elegance and mouthfeel. I mean, that's our when we're doing blending. It's you know, the aromas will come along. So we spend a lot of time looking at the mouthfeel. So we want something. I mean, Pinot Noir is not supposed to be a big macho in your face wine. For me, it's an elegant wine. It should seduce you. It's a silky wine, and so we want that wine to be pretty, long finishes. You know, mouthfeel, no rough edges to it. You know, like I said, if Pinot is anything, it's elegant. It has to be that first and foremost. And on the Chardonnay too. I mean, it's about mouthfeel, it's about silkiness, about its texture. We're not looking for we're not making big macho wines. It's much more seductive.
So here's a question that's more about you than about Schug in a way. As a winemaker, is there an appellation that you would love to make Pinot from that you don't currently?
I don't.
Doesn't have to be in California either.
Well, I mean, who wouldn't love to go to Burgundy?
Yeah,
that's an easy one.
I'm leaving that door open for you.
But yeah, I mean, if you could find your way in there. Well, let's see. You know, I would be interested in, actually in New Zealand. I think there's some great New Zealand Pinots that are coming out there, and what's attracted to me is it's kind of, that's the Wild West. It's pretty wide open down there, and so that to me would be my little fantasy where to go make Pinot somewhere.
Your winter vacation.
Yeah, there you go.
Harvest down under.
Yeah, I can't do the 2 harvests a year. One's enough.
All right. Well, thank you so much for taking the time to share your thoughts with us.
Yeah, I appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you.